Michelangelo channeled this for the Sistine Chapel. And, maybe somebody in the next however many hundreds of years will be channeled for this. Why don't we actually understand what's going on the best we can? And maybe we can bring about a little bit more of that godliness that you talk about.
There are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind, that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm.
Yeah.
Being right? And that's
Absolutely.
that is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's many artists also talking about how essentially what they do in their greatest works of art is usually done through channeling.
Of course.
So, and there is an aspect
not
of this
freedom
that I
chains,
think,
by the way.
definitely not that.
But again, that's why it's so frustrating to me why you wouldn't want to further understand that. Why would you want to leave it to, okay, well, Michelangelo channeled this for the Sistine Chapel. And, maybe somebody in the next however many hundreds of years will be channeled for this. Why don't we actually understand what's going on the best we can? And maybe we can bring about a little bit more of that godliness that you talk about. But you're so content. You're so content to be like, oh, this is something we'll never understand. Then and you just stand back. How you ever expect to understand it? Shout out to Christopher Gonzalez. Welcome to the party. Thank you so much for the like. Glad to see ya. Said science is always studying those events. Yeah. And I don't see why, again, I don't agree with the need for a separation between science and religion. Religion and politics, morality, and I don't think that everything needs to be wrapped around the goddamn Bible. Even if it is for you, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But maybe for me, I have a different way of arriving at the same conclusions, the same positions. And if that's the case, then let's not fight over how we got here and agree that we're sitting at the same spot. Hey, we got a two-timer. Welcome. We'll catch up rather soon. I'm going to say not all Christians think science is bad. Some believe that science is good for God's word. And I mean, yeah, that's essentially what I would expect because we live in a very technological world. Like you're not seeing me right now if you don't believe in science. Or that's not what I meant. Without science, you would not be seeing me right now. I'm not actually contained in your phone or on your computer. I'm in fact in my own home, in a living room. There's just a camera right here. And all of this is connected by the same scientific method. That's just what it is. This is where the freedom movement gets to me. They speak like freedom can only be within their God. True freedom is what should lead you to God or choose to live without it.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly to that.
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Exactly. And if it is so that your God is so powerful and so great and so loving and so, then why do you need to force it down my throat? Won't God take care of that? Won't God show himself to me in the way that is appropriate for me? I just don't get it. I say the influence is enough from the word of the people in your surroundings. Creations and stories of the people who came before us has influence over us all the time. We don't need so-called entities. Great. Content said, moreover, science should prove any of God's word or truth's real, or the truths of God would die. Yeah, the Christian God doesn't think freedom is coming. Not sure how they get there. That's another good point too. But yeah, I mean, the science should only, if what you say is true, then science can only bring us to that truth. It is a process of determining what is true, what is real, what is. So you cannot use science and get to a not God if there is a God. That's not possible. We may not get to the question of whether or not there is a God, which is where we currently stand. But there's no way that you can use science in a universe, in a world, where a God exists. You're using science and you miss that God. That will not happen unless God is hiding. And I'm just saying, personally, that's kind of what I believe. That if there's a God, he hides from people and things because he's a dick and doesn't really care about people.
Well, he's channeling.
We haven't made anything good.
By the way, every artist will tell you that.
Exactly.
Every artist.
That something happened, that they're not themselves, that they just were doing their art,
Now
and then
blow!
something just
Transcend.
went.
No, but
through
and it's
them.
not just visual arts. It's every creative act brings you closer to something outside the human realm, and you can.
But again, even like this shit's so frustrating because, like, all right, I'm not used to doing this show on a Saturday afternoon, so I was a little nervous coming up. But you know, you get into it. You get into the flow. Exactly what they're talking about. You get into it. Now I'm feeling comfortable. I'm good. Has nothing to do with God. Has nothing to do with God. It's just comfort.
Can feel it, whether it's woodworking or writing or painting a painting or writing an opera or writing a rap song or whatever. Anything that is true and beautiful or anything that is dark and destructive is almost certainly a product of forces acting upon you. And
Almost certainly. How almost is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. Contempt says, I see your point on the hiding. The story of the Tower of Babel speaks about God pulling back heaven. Yep. All things that shit, I'd hide from this too. As soon as we found God, the first thing we'd want to know, we'd want to do is know how to control him for our own selfish goals.
you can feel it.
God created us to participate in creation with him, to participate in his creativity and make things.
That's right.
And since everyone in creation with him, to participate in his creativity and make things.
That's right.
And since everyone here is cool, I'll say this. With respect to demons and spiritual forces, there's a priest who was laicized towards the end of his career. He's relatively controversial, but he was an exorcist by the name of Malachi Martin. And one thing he said about exorcism cases is that in
I just need to take a breath. We're really talking about exorcisms. Okay. Tell us about the exorcist, Seamus.
by the name of Malachi Martin. And one thing he said about exorcism cases is that in films, you see all of these over-the-top portrayals of heads spinning and vomiting.
That's not real. Come on. You think that's real?
And he said when it comes to things like vomiting and all of these supernatural visual indicators of possession, that those are the cases that are the most mild because the soul's trying to fight back. And with forms of perfect possession, the most dangerous forms of possession, you can't tell when you look at the person because they're perfectly content with the evil thing they're doing. And then you look at the way people in DC act, you look at the way our political leaders act, and you go,
It's LARPing. It's LARPing. These people will make fun of you because you like the Marvel movies. Yeah, this is what they believe. Like, bro, that's fucking cringe. And if you didn't have half of the country kind of agreeing with you, but actually not, because they say that they're Christian, but they don't actually believe what you believe. So you're the only motherfucker who thinks this shit. But everybody accepts it because you say it's Christian. You use the word God. You say the devil. You say demons. You say spiritual. And this crazy fucking thing. I was just like, oh, yeah. It's like, you look at the way the political leaders go in DC. It's exactly like that. What the fuck are you talking about? Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.